Wonderful. Good evening, everybody. It is June 17th. I would like to call the meeting to order, and I would like to pass this to Trustee Beal.
Good evening. I'd like to acknowledge that this meeting tonight is being held on the traditional unceded territory of the Tsimshian people, Smalleyak speaking people. And I'd like to acknowledge that I'm a very proud person that's lived on this land for many, many years since a small child and had the luxury of enjoying not just the land, but the water and the people. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I would love to remind everyone in the audience that this is a meeting of the board in open and not an open meeting, and that there won't be discussions or speaking during our meeting. Thank you. And also regrets from Trustee Horn and Trustee Sanchez. Adoption of the agenda. Trustee Meyer, thank you. Seconded Trustee Pucci. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And now I will pass this along to you for presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is a special evening tonight, and as part of the mystery, I'll have Sandra Pond, the Assistant Superintendent, introduce our guests.
So our presentation tonight is from Ms. Tillman and her students, the middle school band, the UMass band. And I'm going to turn it over to her. She's got some exciting things to tell us.
So we're here to talk about mainly our trip to Sun Peaks in May, but I thought I'd just let you know what a busy year we've had. So, first of all, it began with moving out of the band room into the old electric shop and watching our building be torn down. All middle school band students played at our Remembrance Day Assembly School District Winter Band Concert Carnival and played O Canada before the teachers versus students hockey game. Cassidy Nelson, who is here tonight, and Emery Russell Hooker auditioned for the Canadian Junior Honor Band and were accepted. They released a video for Music Monday, a day across Canada where music education is celebrated. The middle school band students participated in the Pacific Northwest Music Festival in Terrace, where the grade 7 and 8 band, concert band, and jazz band all received silver. The jazz band also received the highest junior jazz band mark and the Adjudicator's Choice Award. The grade 6 band received gold and an invitation to Music Fest Canada. Concert and jazz bands traveled to Sun Peaks for the Cambria Music Festival. They also performed at the elementary schools last week. All band students from grade 5 to grade 12 performed at the CFest parade on Saturday. Jazz band performed in front of City Hall for CFest, and we have one more performance to do at the year-end celebration next week. So we have 3 students here today that went to Sun Peaks, and they're going to tell you their favorite part of the trip or what they liked about the trips. Shai, first.
Oh, my favorite part of the trip was the mass band. We all learned one song, and at the end of it, all of the schools came together and played the one song. It was awesome.
Yeah, so there's about 400 students that came into one giant room and practiced a little bit and performed 2 pieces all together. So our 1 tuba player had 11 other tubas to play along with and things like that. Cassidy?
My favorite part was also the mass band because it sounded a lot better with all of the classes.
Okay, Luke?
My favorite part was the scavenger hunt because I love running around and trying to find things.
What did you find?
A person on the same birthday as me, really quickly.
Wow.
Yeah, so just some highlights from Sun Peaks. Both bands received silver awards. They had sectionals with other bands. That was before their mass band performance. And then the mass band. They attended a concert by a brass quintet and a vocal soloist. And then, yeah, they participated in the scavenger hunt, and some of our students won a free pizza and gift cards to Starbucks. It was really interesting to see them running around. Like Sun Peaks is fairly small and contained, and because it's not peak season, they basically had run of the whole place, and so they were able to interact with other band students that were there as well. And then they spent the most money at a candy store and were rewarded with a bag of candy by the shop owner. Kept track of what each school, where they were from, and we won that too. So.
Thank you. Have there any questions?
Not a question, just a comment to say that I'm always very impressed on how our band program does in Queen Rupert and how much you guys work and practice and love performing. And thank you for coming out, because I know that it's hard to come out and talk to a bunch of adults. But we do appreciate you and all your hard work.
Thank you.
Just one
Yes,
question,
please.
actually, because when Christy brought up the change management, we call it now. But how do you find practicing in a new location? Is it the acoustics,
Yeah,
Harder?
it's a lot different, yeah.
so it's been very challenging for the children?
I mean, at first, they really notice the difference.
Makes you stronger, that's what they tell me.
Yeah, it's just.
When you go
so
back to the
different.
new school, it'll make you that much better. Well, you'd probably be actually in the high school when the
Just
new
gonna
school.
say, no.
I have a question. What is the date and time for your year-end celebration?
I think it's on Wednesday. At the Lester Center, next Wednesday. In the morning, I'm not sure the exact time.
And is that open to the public? Or who,
I don't know.
who attends?
It's the middle school year-end celebration, so I'm not in charge of it, and I just know that we're playing.
I heard you at CFest. Absolutely wonderful. And I saw you doing this, maybe you won a pizza? Did
Oh,
you win a
yes, I
pizza at
did.
Sun Peaks? I love it. Any questions online? Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Happy summer. It's right around the corner, and thank you for playing, my goodness, and doing your best. This was a huge, long list of incredible celebrations, so thank you so much. Yay.
Thank you for.
Wonderful. So approval of the minutes of the open board meeting. Trustee Meyer, seconded trustee Beal, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And then necessity of the closed meeting and agenda. Which is a board.
4.1 through 4.9.
Thank you, trustee Beal, seconder, trustee Meyer. And all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 5.1, address to the board, we have none, and 5.2, copy to the board, wishes of the board. Please, trustee Meyer.
I would like to make a motion to receive and file all the copy to the board, so 5.2.1 to 5.2.4.
Great, and I would ask just for people online, you might need to speak up.
Oh, sorry,
Yes.
saying that all day.
Thank you. So there is a motion to receive and file 5.2.1 through 5.2.4. Seconder to your motion?
No.
Trustee Dutton? Would you care to speak to that?
Nope.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Superintendent of Schools report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In your package is 6.1.1, which is field trips, page 22. Yeah. Always busy, and people are always getting out and doing things on the land, which is great.
Can I ask a favor? Sorry, can you make this all the little squares like the gallery view?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Please, trustee Beal.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, so Andrew, just quickly, Chloe Bay kayaking, I understand, I mean, it used to be a big thing when I was growing up, like a lot of people access Chloe Bay, but is there any regulations in place now? Because I've heard mixed messages where you're not supposed to go there, or where you have to have permission. Is our school like open just to go there, like our kids?
They are, and yeah, there's a company that goes with them,
Okay,
and they have an agreement,
okay, that's why I was curious. Thank you for that.
yeah, and insurance, and there's sorry, Madam Chair, there are a series of protocols that the book that they have to follow, right? It's very strict.
And one last thing, so, the grade 9s to 12s went to Haida Gwaii, and so for an outdoor skills building retreat, did they stay in housing there? Did they stay in tents? Were they on Toad Hill Road? Like what were they doing?
That's in
2020.
Oh, shoot, that's next year.
2026.
I was thinking, May, sorry.
It's a,
I put myself
Yep.
2026 already, cause I'm getting down there. Anyway, what will they be doing? I guess I could ask, like, is this something that would be doing with the Haida people?
usually they pair up, we're just gonna, which is why we bring these with us in case you have questions.
I do, it's just.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in lodging. I'm not sure what it is. There's two groups that are going. They're in separate lodging.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they get to stay at some of the new facilities up either on Toad Hill Road or out in the Tillow River lodging. It's usual.
Any further questions regarding field trips?
Nothing.
Thank you. Next, Madam Chair, 6.1.2, it is my pleasure to introduce Assistant Superintendent Sandra Pond to provide the enrollment data.
Thank you. So on page 23 is our graph that we've been producing for the last since Andrew and I actually became these positions at the board office. So currently we've got 1,802 students and a little bit of a decline in the last few months. And unfortunately, our enrollment is kind of at an all-time low. Yeah. So we're hoping that that will improve, but trend is not in my favor at this point. And on the table on the next page, on page 24, it shows the count and how it's gone up and down. The Indigenous student count has stayed pretty much 61 to 62% over the year. But there's lots of ins and outs, so it's, it's
Yeah.
interesting, the dynamics of what happens in the year.
Trustee Pucci?
I would be surprised if we have this, but I'm gonna ask, are we aware of any of the students that we lost in the last few months? Were they families on work visas? So I don't want to call them international students because they're not an international student program, but families that were on work visas that would have expired. And it's okay if we don't. It's okay if we don't have the information. I'm just
That
curious
would
if
be,
we
that
have
would
that
be
as.
sort of masked information. We wouldn't, yeah.
Yeah. No, and fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be very hard to tell. It'd be basically if how long they've been in our system. You could probably extrapolate that way, but it wouldn't be a fair full answer. But just out of curiosity, as there are a number of affected people in our community currently on work visa programs that are now curtailed and or eliminated. So it's unfortunate.
Great, Madam Chair, Trustee Pucci, we were aware of two employees who came to tell us that they had their working permits withdrawn. But neither of them had students in our school system.
Okay.
Next, 6.1.3, upcoming projects, learning and other. As always, there's a million things going on in our schools. They are very, very busy places, and this past month is no different, not different. Charles Hayes Junior Boys Golf Team won the zone championships and competed in Pemberton for the provincials. They placed 11th overall. Hartley Bay students participated in a food and land from food from the land and from the sea, harvesting camp in Kiel. They participated in harvesting seaweed, preparing fishing gear. A big treat was huge bonfires where they were exploring the rocks and spending time on the beach. Cam Hill, the principal, talked about the wonderful time that they had when they were around the campfire at night and they're telling cultural stories. So Cam was able to relate stories that his father and stories that his father learned and passed on to him. And he said, you know, the kids were, you could hear a pin drop. Nobody was on their phone. So, all schools have been participating in various track and field activities. Some were canceled and postponed because of rain, but they pretty much got them done. Charles Hayes athletes completed in track and field zones in Smithers, winning both senior and the overall banners. Many achieved personal bests and 17 athletes qualified for the provincials,
Wow.
which is phenomenal. As well, we have two students from Charles Hayes will be speaking with the Premier of BC. They were selected and they are Felicity Green and Tyson Bombin. And on the 20th, they will be speaking for just a few minutes with the Premier. Charles Hayes students participated in Salmon Fest, including members of the Gitwas Drum Group and other community organizations were involved. Charles Hayes commencement ceremony, some of you were there, took place on Friday on June 13th. PCS commencement will happen on Thursday, June 19th. Conrad Elementary will be heading to the Salt Marsh area by the curling rink this week for their year-end celebration. They have many outdoor and indoor activities planned. They'll be having lunch and also using their drums for a drumming circle. Lahane will also be doing that as well next week. All of our schools will be honoring National Indigenous Peoples Day, which is June 21st on Saturday. Several activities are planned at the rec center. There's Métis drummers, there's artworks, drumming, fried bread, cod chowder, wonderful things that I think you know Prince Rupert does it up right every year. Roosevelt School will be participating in their official opening of the Salmonberry Garden. This is behind the school. If you're up in that area, you can have a look. It's a fenced in area. They'll have a greenhouse and they're starting to grow some plants. And a big sponsor was the Prince Rupert Port Authority. In July, just an announcement, you know, it seems we're always doing fundraising. Schools are always doing fundraising. And I know I buy a lot of chocolates every year from everyone who comes to the board office. But this year, the Pembina company is doing a golf scramble on July 5th. All of the proceeds that they make from all their various activities and their entry fees is going to Charles Hayes, PRMS, and PCS for sporting activities. Very exciting. Early learning. As you know, as was mentioned about our enrollment staying kind of level, we're very, very interested in making sure that kindergarten kids come to us and that we attract students to say our schools are great and we want to stay here, we don't want to move away. So play in the kindergarten sessions have been happening at elementary schools throughout May and June. They had about 75 to 80% of the kindergarten kids' families attend. These sessions are designed to welcome kindergarten students, to build relationships with staff and students, as well as to ease the transition into school in September. The summer childcare program at Conrad Elementary is now at capacity. 22 students are registered, which is phenomenal. 3 early childhood educators have been hired and are preparing for startup on July 2nd, and that will go till August 15th. School district has applied for a license to operate a before and after school care for kids who are 36 months to school age in Port Edward at the community school. So we're following that because we know that's going to help Port Edward Community School. 20 spaces will be available, and a letter of expression of interest has been sent out on social media and to pretty much anyone we could find to let them know about it and to just let us know. Are you interested in participating? Come on down, because we need to know how many kids are coming up in the system. It's been a very, very good year, hard work from all of our educational staff, includes teachers and EAs, but it also includes the bus drivers and custodians and IT and maintenance staff who will be working throughout the summer. And I want to extend it this year to the people who are building the seismic upgrade to Prince Rupert Middle School. They're just dying for that last bell to ring so that there's no more students and no staff so that they can work like crazy because they know all summer they can just go flat out to get that school built. And so we're excited about that. You see changes every day you drive by. There's new things are happening. And I'd also like to just take a moment and say to Sandra Pond that thanks to Sandra Pond, this is her last meeting. And it's been 5 years that we've worked together in the board office. And so you won't be giving enrollment except where's Theo, where's, where are the grandbabies to make sure you keep track of them.
Yeah.
And so we say thank you, and we will be doing some events for Sandra at the board office to thank her, say goodbye.
We appreciate
What's your last day?
July 31st.
July 31st.
Madam Chairman,
Please.
I just want to thank Sandy for all her help during this time for me. You are amazing. I really appreciate what you have done. Not just for me, it's super nice. Her family is super nice, and it's not just about work, it's also that human relationship, and I'm so grateful of meeting you at the school district and all the rest.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I too would love to express my gratitude to you. And when we were without Andrew for a very extended period of time, you just stepped in, and my goodness, I think I can speak for all of us, how absolutely grateful. And as Enrique says, it's professional, but it's personal too. We're so grateful for you for so many things, Sandy. So you will be hugely missed. I can't imagine what this table would feel like without you here. I cannot. Thank you. Any questions for Andrew? That complete.
That is my report, Madam Chairman.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for keeping us updated there, sir.
Thank you. I think also, for those that just hear these reports, I think that Andrew could give reports that would last a week with what our board is, all that is going on for our board. So acknowledging you to all of you. Thank you. Wonderful. On to Enrique and Secretary Treasurer's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Under point 7.1, May 2025 statements of operations report are found on page 25. And I would like to point out that total revenues at May were $26.7 million. This amount was almost $62,000 greater than amended budget. The main reason of such positive variance is the increase in investment income by $54,600. Total expenses at the end of the period were $26.4 million, which were around $64,000 lower than amended budget. The most important negative variance comes from teacher salaries. As I mentioned last month, one of the reasons of such variance was the correction of an incorrect allocation of a teacher salaries position. This was identified as part of the review my team is doing to our financial reports. Additionally, the other reasons that cause these variations are step increases in 2 positions and a few positions that came back from medical leave not included in the amended budget. At the end of May, the school district had a surplus of $277,983 compared to the $152,276 expected. This means that the school district shows a better financial performance by $125,000 at the end of the period. As I mentioned last month, something I'm working with my team is to ensure all revenues and expenses are recognized at the end of every month to have the most accurate financial picture of our school district, However, this is an ongoing activity. I will open the floor in case the trustees have any questions.
Trustee Pucci?
Just for clarification's sake, because I think that it's an important piece, and hopefully I'm not misunderstanding, is the 54,000 we have from the investments, that is a result of the money from the school being in our account. That is not a benefit from the stock markets or any of that sort of instruments. This is the sheer fact that at this one period in time, we have an exceptional amount in the accounts because there is the school building being built, and we cannot consider this to be something that would be a plan going forward to rely on. Is that correct?
Yes and no. Yes, this interest income is coming from money that we have received from the Ministry of Infrastructure, not related to the middle school though. It's coming
Okay.
from the daycare facility.
Okay,
So-
but from a project, not
Exactly.
from our own formula that we receive for the children or anything like that. This is a capital project that we've been issued. Okay, perfect.
And this capital project that is was approved at the end of last December. And is money that we have in our bank account, in the school district bank account. And what we are doing is investing in a secure product. I think going back to what we can do better going forward is, again, paying attention to our cash flow. But to your point, actually, is that it's not something that we will, unfortunately, continue having in future years, because at the moment that we start working on that project, that money will sign. So.
Yeah. No, fair. I think it's just an important point that again, this is a kind of a one-off situation that we got very.
So I sent the link and the invite, so check your email, okay? And
Sorry, trustee Dalton. Oh, thank you, please. Thank you. Did that answer your question, trustee Pucci?
Yes, and thank you, because again, like I said, I had obviously some misunderstanding, but again, I think it's important that everyone understands that that's a windfall from a one-off opportunity, not something that was easily planned.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No, that's all I want clarification on, so that the audience doesn't think we are in the stock market.
Yeah, no.
Thank you. Please continue.
Okay. So moving to point 7.2, 2025-26 annual budget and bylaw. On page 27, you will find the information regarding the 2025-26 preliminary budget. Our intention is to do the second and third bylaw reading tonight. It is important to note that budget figures presented in the first reading have not changed at this time. So now if we can go to the presentation. Thank you. So, I'm not planning to go over every single slide. It's a presentation that I think by now many of you are familiar with. Let's go to the next slide, please. Next. So just a reminder that we're in the last stages of this process, budget process. We are in basically the last stage. If the budget is approved tonight during the second and third reading, the next step would be to submit this information before the Ministry of Education and Childcare. Next, please. And the deadline is June 30th. Next. Just a reminder, we have different sources of funds. We have the operating fund, the special purpose fund, and the capital fund. Right now, we are focusing mainly in the operating fund. Next, please. And also in previous meetings, I have been showing this slide. I would just remind that the ending balance at June 30th, 2024, the surplus of the school district was 1.4 million. The estimated surplus by the end of this school year is $455,000. And the expected ending balance at June 30th this year is gonna be $1 million. Now, based on the results at the end of May, seems like we could be in a better position than amended budget, but I want to be cautious because again, I'm still learning about the processes, the expenses, accruals. But those are the numbers that I have been showing, and I just want to clarify that there's a probability that we can end up this fiscal year with a better financial situation. Next slide, please. So I go back to this surplus policy. And when I was preparing this presentation, I took some part of the feedback that I received in the last meeting. And I just want to highlight the last sentence of that policy, which says contingency funds should be maintained at a value between 2% and 4% of the district operating budget. So let's go to the next slide, please. So hopefully you can see this information. So what I ended up doing, try to understand the trends, a little bit of history of the school district, and again, gather more information without going into the past because I don't have time for that. However, I pulled this information from the audited financial statements. So it starts from 2019 all the way to last year, 2024. So those are the operating expenses, the actual operating expenses that the school district incurred during those 2 years. Okay. I'm looking at the first row, sorry, on the total operating expenses. Then the next row shows the unrestricted surplus as per audited financial statements. And I'm showing those numbers, again, I pulled those numbers from the audited financial statements. What is my main point here was like, okay, I want to compare what was the contingency fund percentage during the last 6 years and see if what I'm trying to project for next year makes sense, how off I am. And here is the truth based on the audited financial statements. Look at the actual contingency percentage at year-end. 2019 was really good. Actually, it was 2.7%. How I calculate that percentage is the unrestricted surplus divided by the total operating expenses, which is what our policies shows. So it's 2.7%, okay, was okay. However, from 2020 all the way to 2023, that is the reality of the school district. The contingency was at that low level that I don't know what happened. I'm just looking at the numbers. You know, numbers are sometimes like that, right? They are just showing something, and I don't know the story behind, but that is the reality. 0.6, 0.1, 0.8, 0.9. 2024 was way better, 5.3. So the policy is saying is recommended or should be between 2 and 4%. 2024 was the contingency percentage 5.3%, which I can mention part of the reason I am aware of that increase in the surplus is a reimbursement from the ministry for the expenses paid in previous years related to the middle school, the majority. But there was also a small surplus for around 200,000 and change. And that is the slide that, again, I'm just pulling information from the audited financial statement. So can we go to the next one? So then I'm saying, okay, let's project, try to compare apples with apples and see what I see. So what I'm doing is, in this slide is showing in the last column, 2025 amended budget. And the expectation is based on the amended budget information, total operating expenses 3.1 million, unrestricted surplus as per amended budget, 1 million basically. So it's the estimated deficit of 400,000 that I am including in the amended. That would be the unrestricted surplus at the end of this year, estimated, right? Projected. could be 3.4%. So we are still in that target between 2 and 4%. And then I'm doing the same projection for the preliminary, based on the information I'm showing for the preliminary budget. And even though it's hard to see it, but the expected contingency percentage would be around 1.1. My estimation is hopefully the financial result of the school district is going to be better. But here is the reality. When I compare these percentages, these numbers would be better than the numbers, the actual numbers that the school district generated from 2020 to 2023. Again, it's important to mention that there is an opportunity, hopefully, that next year we can have a better financial performance. This is conservative based on the information I know by now. I will go to the next slide. So, same thing in previous meetings, I have been talking about the pressures for our budget. And I would like to touch base on two items there. Unfortunately, global financial uncertainty is something that I cannot deal with, I cannot solve, but there are others that I cannot solve. But I will point out two that by now, I think I have good news. Talking about benefit premiums increases. During last month, I was involved in negotiations with the party that worked with the school districts to set the premiums for next year. And I'm happy to report that the increase will be just around $14,000 for the school district. It's something that I will need to keep, and is keeping the same level of benefits that everybody receives at the school district. It's just, again, trying to be smart with the money and mindful with the money. So that is the first point, because in previous meetings, I was not aware exactly what would be the exposure. Now I can say it's around $14,000, which in the big scheme of things is immaterial, really. The other one is potential ERP system upgrades. Although I am still working with the options available out there, I can report by now that it's not for next year budget, but for 26-27, at least our annual maintenance fee will decrease at least $17,000. Again, it's not millions of dollars, but when you put together in a bucket 17,000 here, 10,000 there, 15 there, makes an important amount. I'll go to the next one. Next one, please. We already talked about that slide, so I'm not planning to go over that again. Can you go to the next one? Next one. That one. So that is the projected. Sorry, those are the numbers included in the operating fund for next year. And we talk about this, talking about revenues. In our last meeting, we talked about the reasons of the variances in between the amended budget and preliminary budget. I will just mention briefly about the reduction in revenues. Projected is around $330,000 reduction. Why? Because the decrease in enrollment, which translates to a reduction in funds from the Ministry of Education and Child Care by $222,000. That is the most significant reason of the variance. Also, we talk about international student reduction, investment income, and between others. Also, now talking about expenses, and I would like to mention that regarding expenses, as I mentioned in our meeting last month, It is important to mention that the amended budget of the current year served as the base for a status quo budget for 25-26. This is the budget which assumes to provide the same level of service and programming as has been provided in the current year, adjusted for the following items. Salaries. No increase in salaries for now, considering that any salary increases approved later in the year will be covered by the Ministry of Education and Childcare. Administration staffing changes announced last month, effective August 1st, which considers a reduction in salaries on the principal, vice principal, and increases in other professionals. So the next one is services and supplies, new upgrade of the accounting software. I am including, or that budget includes $350,000. It may be possible to capitalize for a portion of the investment for this project. Therefore, the impact in operational expenses could be lower depending on the type conditions of the software. And also, the Secretary Treasurer to find savings on the services and supplies for $150,000 plus inflation effects. And can we go to the next slide? We talk about this one. It's around 89% of our revenues comes from the Ministry of Education. Next. Around 87% of our expenses are related to salaries and benefits. Next. And we know the majority of those expenses come from teachers and also portion of that benefits. Next. And this is the projection that I already talked in a previous slide about that. So based on, sorry, can you go on? So again, based on these numbers, the expected ending balance of the accumulated surplus unrestricted will be almost 319,000. Next. And this is just the other funds that are also included in the budget. Is a special purpose fund. Total revenues to be received around 6.2, plus deferred revenue. That is 1.9 million minus expenses would be the estimated balance at the end of the next year is going to be 1.6 million. Next. And this is a summary that shows what is the total expenses included in the budget, which is 38,258,616, compared to 38,317,176 of that shows the amended budget. Therefore, the change is around $59,000. Next. For more details of the budget, you can find all the exhibits included in the package. And the next steps would be go ahead with the second and third reading. Then we will need to submit this information before the ministry. Next. Next. I will open the floor for the trustees in case of any question.
I actually have some questions. Because like I explained to you before, sitting on this board for many, many years, we did a different process, right? And so I do get challenged on the budget, and so I like to be transparent. I can't be transparent if I don't understand something, so that's why I'll ask you. I understand, I see a bit more money into, can you go back to the budget for a second?
Like for
For the teachers, the support staff, who does the support staff include altogether?
yeah, right. Sorry.
The support staff, so I see there's a bit more amended budget, there's a bit more money in that pot of money. So support staff is inclusive of who?
For example, secretaries,
And you haven't brought maybe been. here long enough.
maintenance, team members, I'm thinking about people, clerical support, like all those kind of.
IEOU employee.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, it's important to say, again, these numbers, this reduction that you see, doesn't translate about reduction of people, not at all.
No, I'm not asking that.
Oh.
I'm just asking, I see it's a bit more reflective of an increase in that department overall compared to what I think we saw. I don't remember seeing it amended upward before. That's why I'm asking.
Oh,
It's not,
What's that?
it's not, it's amended backward,
Hold on, let me see.
2388.
Oh, sorry, it was last year, sorry.
If I can speak to that,
Yes, it
is your question then, where is that 80,000 coming from?
Yes,
okay, so again, the baseline of this 25-26 budget was amended budget. The difference is that, when we were analyzing the amended budget, at that moment, we identified some situations where we didn't, the projection that was used for amended was higher than the reality of the school district. So what we are doing is adjusting that. Again, it's not about cutting any position. As I said before,
No,
before I come to the board to cut positions, I will go over that services and supplies of a line item, and I will do my best to go over those ones. Because probably you know that better than I. When you try to solve the situation of the school district by just cutting positions, that is not sustainable. That is the reason my focus right now is the services and supplies. The negotiations with, again, IT solutions, accounting software providers. What about programs? Some of the plans that I have is about utilities. What are the programs that we have to save electricity, gas? Those are the big items that we, at some point, maybe we can find efficiencies. Again, my point right now, my focus is not the salaries for teachers. I do understand the need that the school district has. And that's the reason I'm not saying, no, those are just projections, financial projections that when we put together the amended budget, at that time, we have some information that, after we continue working for March and April financial statement is when analyzing the financial information is when I identify those issues. I go, okay, those are the changes that are just for presentation purposes, if you will, but that doesn't mean at all that we're planning to put those issues. The other way around, when I hear other school districts, big school districts in the south saying that they are planning to put 50 EAs positions, I feel happy that say, we're not planning to do that in this school district. I feel happy as well that I'm looking from the other pockets of money that we have, calling special purpose funds. And I talked about this in our last meeting, I believe, annual facility grant. We went through every single project that we requested money to the Ministry of Infrastructure. And together with the Director of Operations, Acting Director of Operations, was like, okay, let's identify the projects that we need additional labor. And we identified 4 positions that we're going to hire for 2 months during summer. And the money is not coming from the operated one. It's coming from the annual facility grant. So that is the kind of logic that I'm putting in this. So hopefully with all this information provides some idea of what I'm planning to do with that.
That's what we want to hear. We need all the positions we have and then some, right? So wherever we can find the cuts, it's better not off the backs of our people who work for the district.
Thank you.
Thanks for that explanation, what you're trying to do as so far as finding the money and reductions in other places.
Trustee Fucci?
No, my questions was answered, through, one was answered through the facility grant question, or answer, pardon me, and then the other was through some other explanation, but thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you.
I guess the next step would be the, go ahead with the, with.
Or we can do that when we move on to finance and building committee.
Okay. So on the 0.7.3, on page 45, sorry, you will find the May 2025 operating department report. I will open the floor to this in case there's any questions.
I just have one
Please,
question.
trustee Beal.
I know that we put the charging station in place. Are we actually, is anyone using that?
Yes, trustee Veal, there are a few users each month using it. We've not had any recorded users at the Charles Hayes one. However, the one that's down here has been used. We're working, just to add to it, is we're working on where we park vehicles on the weekends, because that's when people access it. And we want to make sure that, you know, we've sometimes parked our vehicles in front of it and nobody could get to it. So, yeah.
So the one on Charles Hayes, do you think it's to do with the fact that it's a very congested area, no one can get there?
Correct, because it is listed in some of my friends who have it's on their, it shows up on their screen for their
Yeah,
electric vehicle for the
Yeah.
charging station.
yeah, I just wondered
Yeah.
if it's because it's so congested in area all the time, and so, thanks for that.
Any further questions regarding the report? Thank you.
0.7.4, on page 46, you will find the May 2025 Information Technology Department report. I will open the floor to this in case of any questions.
Any questions? Not seeing any. Thank you so much for your report. Thank you. On to the committee reports. Trustee Meyer. Finance and building.
Yeah, the only thing that came up in finance and building was that you haven't already covered. Is that our September 2025 board meeting, we usually hold it on the third Tuesday, and due to it being start of school, we usually then make a motion to put it on the fourth Tuesday, so that would be
The 23rd.
the 23rd. Thank you.
And we would need a motion for that, correct?
Yes, in addition to what Trustee Meyer said, is also on that day, we're planning to present the audited financial statements for this school year. So
Thank you. So would you care to make that motion?
Yeah, I can make a motion.
Great.
I'll second it.
Wonderful. We have a motion on the table to move our September date to the 4th. There are 5 Tuesdays in September, so it will be the 4th Tuesday, the 23rd of September. All in favor? Wonderful. So moved. Thank you. And then also, trustee Meyer, the bylaw,
Yeah, let me find it.
page 29 of 59.
The main thing about sitting on this committee, I have to do all the reading. And we don't make a motion before this, right? I just read it for the second reading, correct?
We have to make a motion to read it second, third, and adopt,
Okay, so I make a
Adoption.
motion first.
you should,
Okay.
you're all three.
I'll make a
up-
motion for the second and third reading of
And,
the annual bylaw, budget bylaw
and adoption.
and adoption.
A seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you, trustee Beal. And all in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. Please.
Yeah, I can go. A bylaw of the Board of Education of School District Number 52, Prince Rupert, called the board to adopt the annual budget of the board for the fiscal year 2025-2026 pursuant of section 113 of the School Act, RSBC 1996 C412, as amended from time to time, called the Act. 1, the board has complied with the provisions of the Act, ministerial orders, and the Ministry of Education and Childcare policies respecting the annual budget adopted by this bylaw. Number 2, this bylaw may be cited as School District Number 52, Prince Rupert Annual Budget Bylaw for the fiscal year 2025-2026. 3, the attached Statement 2 showing the estimated revenue and expenses for the 2025-2026 fiscal year and the total budget bylaw amount of $38,258,616 for the 2025-2026 fiscal year was prepared in accordance with the Act. 4, Statement 2, 4, and Schedules 2 to 4 are adopted as the annual budget of the board for the fiscal 2025-2026. Read a second time, the 17th day of June 2025.
A second. Trustee Beal, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And then read a third time, passed and adopted the 17th day of June 2025.
Seconded. Trustee Beal, and all in favor?
Aye.
And so moved. Would you like to, I don't know if you need to read the last there, I hereby certify?
No.
That's just my
No,
sign.
don't even actually need to
Wonderful.
read the contents of the.
Thank
bylaw.
you. Thank you.
Sorry, I was supposed to let you read it, you don't have to, though.
Wonderful.
I was torturing you.
Framework for enhanced student learning. Oh, and that's complete for your report, yes?
Yes, yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. For enhanced student learning, trustee Horn has sent his regrets, and I know we haven't met. Did you have anything to add to that one?
I think I was hoping to share some data, but I'm still waiting for some of it from schools, and that would be the kindergarten and grade 3 reading data. So that will be in the annual enhanced student learning report. And we'll report on that in the fall. But the framework, as I tried to explain to someone the other day, the framework is complicated and is comprised of all the structures in the system that happen constantly throughout the year. So right now, some of the things that are happening that are sort of framework items would be teachers are doing report cards for kids. Students are writing provincial exams. We're waiting for the student learning survey results, which will come out in July. So there's always things happening. And then we'll of course be waiting for the graduation results, which will come out at the end of July and won't be actually announced till November. So it's an ongoing, complicated system that we're all involved in at all levels, the board, the principals, the teachers, everybody,
The ministry.
the ministry, everybody. Yeah, so, yeah, we'll be working hard, in the next month to start looking at the data for the annual enhancing student learning report, which is due, September 30th. So, yeah, it's just ongoing.
Any questions for Ms. Pond?
I guess she'll just be sharing that by via paper because she won't be at the next board meeting.
Exactly. I'll be sharing it with someone else to share with you.
Okay.
Thank you. 8.3, as both of our trustees have sent their regrets and they haven't sent me anything to report, we can move on to 8.4, the policy committee. And that committee, trustee Horn has stepped down and trustee Meyer has committed to that committee, so thank you. The June 10th meeting minutes are in your package on page 48. And from those meetings, 8.4.2 policies that have been moved for approval. If we can do 6, 7, 10, and 2, 3, 3, 0 together, as there were no no input or feedback from rights holders or partner groups. So those are policies for.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you so much. Seconder for that motion, trustee Dalton. Thank you. Did you care to speak to?
No, I understood there was a.
Thank you. And all in favor for approval?
Aye.
So moved. And then 5120, our naming policy. If you have a look on page 2 of 3, under naming a new school, we did have feedback from one of our rights holders groups, and what has been amended, as you can see in the notes, have been written in black. And so I open that up to the board for discussion if needed.
I do have a question.
Please.
We're not gonna have an issue with right holders making recommendations whatsoever. But I guess I need to have clarification. What does it mean on and off reserve? Because does it mean someone that's not within the school district, per se, play a role in this? Like someone like for Kit Catler, for instance, Kit Catler was part of the school district at one time, but opted to go band operated. So L'Aquilance, same thing. Will they share into this naming of whatever? Like, I just need clarification because this is very vague for me. This is a hang-on sentence to me. So I'm just kind of curious, like I said, no disrespect to anyone. It's just that this is not indicative of how we do business. So please engage me or entertain me on what this actually represents, please.
Thank you. So I don't know if you care to speak to
Sure.
that. Thank you.
Trustee Beal, when we met in the committee, we were talking about this. We talked about making sure that we have a true representation. So we have many people who don't live on reserve, but are rights holders from Metlakatla and other areas. And we wanted to make sure that we would include them, even though they may not have lived on the reserve. They may have been born here in Prince Rupert and never been to the reserve. They are rights holders, and we want to respect that they have the right to make suggestions and to submit names.
And if I could add to that as well, the number 3.2, which was taken out, doesn't mean that's excluding, right, Métis and Inuit people as they are part of our community. It's just saying that they won't be hand selected to speak, but this board is who will be engaging what this looks like and what community voices are gathered. And my understanding is that this would be going out to community for the broader naming of the school, and then this committee would come with at least a minimum of 2 suitable names for consideration.
Thank you.
So this has come to the board. This has been moved forward for discussion here at the board. So I'm curious if there's any further discussion on this.
I would like to table this until all the board members are available to discuss it more in depth.
Wonderful, thank you. I have trustee Pucci. Are you making a motion or can he speak first?
Of course, he can
Thank
speak
you.
first.
Trustee Pucci?
I'm in agreement to have this discussion deferred. I'm not comfortable in the time frame of a week or so that we've had the agenda item to kind of ponder this. I think that we're in no pressure to move this, and I'd like a little bit more time to understand in my own mind what the engagement is and really the size of that engagement, and so forth. So I appreciate a little more time. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you care to make a motion?
I did. I'll make a motion that we table this until all board members are here.
Wonderful. And do you have a seconder for that motion? Trustee Meyer, wonderful.
Mike?
Thank you. I have trustee Meyer. And would anyone care to speak to this motion? Wonderful. So we have a motion on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. So moved. Thank you very much. Now policies for review. We have 8.4.1 3.1, the superintendent's job description policy. And 8.4.3.2, the physical restraint and seclusion policy, which is one from our rotation. I'm just gonna share a little
Oh,
bit.
I was gonna make a motion on one.
Thank you. And so the superintendent's job description is one that has come through via the
Internal business.
road trip that we're doing with KPMG. And that this is also an internal policy, so this one will not be, this is a policy for review by the board. This is not one that will be going out to rights holders and partner groups. And so I just wanted to make that clear before we move forward. So we have policies for review, 8.4.3.1, 6320, wishes of the board. Please.
I'll make the motion to send it to all stakeholders and right holders.
This is the one that we're just keeping internal.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
Superintendent, sorry.
Wonderful.
I'll make a motion that, well, I didn't sit on this committee. I'd like someone else to make the motion to say.
Thank you. And it's only me on this committee, and I don't know that I should make this motion.
Well, you really can't. You have
Right.
to step out, let your vice chair go into your seat, but I would suggest, I mean,
I'm comfortable in making this motion that this is an internal discussion for the board.
Wonderful.
I second. You need a seconder?
sorry,
Please.
I guess I misunderstood you, Kate. I was having a heated moment here because it's so hot in here. I misunderstood you. Because all I wanted to I guess ask a question. This is at one stage of, okay, all right, I would have made that motion to keep it in.
Wonderful. So we have the motion on the floor that this policy will stay internal and that the board will be putting it to review within themselves. We have a seconder.
I'll
Would
second
anyone
it.
like, we have a seconder, trustee Dalton,
Oh.
and would anyone like to speak to that before we move on to anything?
No,
Wonderful. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. 8.4.3.2. A policy that has been pulled out of review, wishes of the board.
that's when I'll send it out to the right holders and
Thank you.
stakeholders for review.
Great. And seconder to that motion? Trustee Pucci, wonderful. Did you care to speak to that, trustee? Pucci?
No, I think I'm fine.
Great. All in favor?
In their position.
Aye.
Wonderful. So moved. Thank you. And 8.5 District Technology Steering Committee. Trustee Horn is not present, and I don't know if the committee has met. All right, we will hear from, if they have, we will hear from that in September. So thank you. Old business.
I have none.
All right, new business.
I have none.
Information items, as we was shared today by Superintendent Samuel, PCS commencement is this Thursday, June 19th. 11.2 is National Indigenous People Day is Saturday, June 21st. To my understanding, it's taking place at the Civic Center from noon till approximately 7:30. 11.3, last day of school, June 26th. Administrative day is June 27th. First day of school, September 2nd. And the board meeting date has been voted on tonight as September 23rd. That is a correct date, right, Tamara? Yes, wonderful, 2025. We do now have a 10-minute question and answer period, and I will just remind our audience that this is a time for questions, not statements, and these are questions that are related directly to the agenda tonight. We do have 10 minutes, so if you have a question, you can ask your question, and then we'll open the floor to others. And also, if you can direct your question to the chair, and the chair will direct the question to whom it should be directed to. I do have trustee Dalton, please, before we move into question period.
Thank you very much. It's just a very quick question, because you should never assume, it's something that we discussed at the last meeting, about, having district literacy, the little bit of money that we're getting and things like that, which is very exciting. And so I know it's happening in all of this, but I never did ask if, for example, if Roosevelt School, if that literacy coordinator would be bilingual since you have the two languages. And I never thought of asking, I just assumed, like a dodo, my apologies.
Thank you. I have Superintendent Samuel for you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Trustee Dalton, there'll be an opportunity when the position is posted that staff who are bilingual may apply for the position. Definitely, it would be a positive support, given that the school has a immersion track as well as an English track.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. It might not happen, but at least if it's open to bilingual people, that's fabulous. That's all that one can ask. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And now we are open for questions.
The end of it.
You're not muted, Ms. Rourke. Going once. Going twice. And that is our question and answer period. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight. Have a wonderful summer. We will be working through the summer and we will keep you posted on what we are doing. And thank you all for those that can enjoy summer on this incredible part of the planet. Thank you, everybody. Happy summer. See you in September.
Nice summer. Bye.
Thank you. Sorry.
Bye.